my friends and I would get a section at the club every Saturday. So that became like the thing. Like every Saturday night, we were going to go downtown and we were going to party and have a good time and stuff. And so I was also a videographer. I liked shooting videos and editing on the side. So the club that I would go to, I asked them if I could take my camera one time, and they were like, sure. And I made them a video and they liked it. So then I kind of became like their promotion videographer. I would go in, I would film, they'd give me bottles and take care of my friends and I and stuff. So one night I had a little too much to drink. We went into the street and I told my friend, hey, hold my camera. I'm going to use my phone as a microphone. And the first question I ever asked was, if you could be any animal, what would you be? I don't know why that's what I thought of, but that was the question. And so I asked it. It came out pretty funny, and then I never posted it for like 2 months. It just sat on my computer. And then one day when I was at work, I said, you know what? I'm going to kind of put it together and I'm going to put it on my Twitter. So I posted it on my Twitter one night and I had 200 followers. And when I woke up in the morning, I had 2,000 followers and the video had 100,000 views. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, this was so funny. This guy asked questions downtown Mcallen. This is insane. This is hilarious. So I told my friend, I said, man, we got to do this again. So the next weekend we did it again, and then again, and then again. And, you know, by the second week that I went, people were taking pictures with me. They're like, it's the guy from Twitter. And so it kind of started off as a Twitter thing, and then I started putting them on YouTube and then Instagram. And, you know, after about a year, it became like a business. And then, it took off, and I had to get a videographer and all kinds of stuff.
And do you remember what year this was or no?
The very first one was towards the end of, during the summer of 2018.
2018?
Yeah. Oh. And then 2019, it became like a thing. And then, yeah, from 2019 up until now, it's just been going strong. Except for when COVID hit. That was kind of weird. The bars closed down and there was nobody to interview. So
Valió madre.
I was posting old stuff and recording with my mask.
Oh, sí?
So that was kind of weird.
Oh, yes. Y going back, cuando trabajabas para el federal government, ¿cómo jaló ese jale? Like, how did that start? ¿O qué rollo?
So, man, if I take it way back, I skipped high school, right? So after eighth grade.
What high school did you go to?
I didn't go to any high school. So I was technically homeschooled, but I started college when I was 14. So after eighth grade, I took my SATs and then some exams called the THEA and the AccuPlacer, and I got into college. And normally what like high school students will do, it's like dual enrollment. So they'll be in high school, but they'll take college classes.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of what I did, except I just did full college classes, like full time. So I got my associate's degree when I was 16, and then I was at STC, then I went to UTPA before it was UTRGV, and then I transferred to St. Edward's University in Austin. And I was like the youngest person to ever graduate with a political science degree. I was 18 when I got my bachelor's, when I graduated from college. So everyone that I grew up with, when they were a senior in high school, I was a senior in college. So I graduated. I started working for the state. I worked at the Capitol in Austin. I worked for a state representative. And then I got asked to work on a campaign for someone that was running for Congress. So then I was working on a campaign down here for Vicente Gonzalez. They say Vicente con la gente. I don't know if you remember seeing all that stuff. So then when he won, he offered me a job to work for him. So I moved to Washington, D.C. when he won, and I worked in his office in D.C. for over a year. And I was part of his legislative staff and stuff. And then he convinced me, I wanted to join the military. So that was always my dream. I was just kind of doing that to make money and just kind of be stable. But he convinced me to go to law school. And my dad's a lawyer. So I knew I always wanted to be a lawyer, like long term. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I wanted to join the military while I was young and fit and stuff. But he was like, man, you got to go to law school. So I took the LSAT exam when I was living in Washington. And I got into law school back home in Texas. So I moved back down. And then that's when I started filming randomly and just kind of incidentally became a YouTuber and never stopped.
Y cuando estabas allá in Washington, did you ever go out over there to the nightlife over there, or you were just grinding?
Oh, yeah, it just wasn't documented.
Oh, sí?
So, yeah, it's in my snaps.
A la madre.
It's in the vault.
Is there any time you're going to put, like, behind the scenes
any
or
of that
out or something?
Not from that period. No, that goes with me to the grave. But no, there were some really cool spots to go out over there. I'd actually like to go back over there and do my interviews, because there were some cool strips of bars and stuff like that.
See?
Yeah, there was some. It was cool. The nightlife was cool. I've filmed in all kinds of. We've done Vegas, Miami, Austin, Houston, but you know what? Nowhere compares to Mcallen. Like the content, the people, you can't beat it.
Pues 956, ya sabes, puro desmadre time a la verga.
Exactly.
Sí, pues ya watchas todo ese jale, güey. In any of those videos that you've done, nunca te han cagado al palo como, güey, estás grabando mi ruca, qué pinche onda, o estás grabando mi vato, o no pongas ese jale a la verga. Va a haber pedo, or something que te hagan hecho de pedo.
Okay, so typically with that, it's more like I'll get a message like, "Hey, bro, you interviewed my ex or my girlfriend or something like that." But it's nobody that I know, and it's nothing intentional, But that's as far as it goes. Like, oh, my ex was talking shit about me, or that I don't like that guy or something like that. But it's really none of my business, and I'm not involved with any of that stuff. But there's been some people, and then when someone doesn't want to come out later, like if they hit me up and they're like, hey, I was out on Saturday, I was really drunk, I answered a question, I don't post them, I'll take them out. So I'm real cool about that. If you come out on a YouTube video and you don't like it and you hit me up, I can still take you out. So I'm not trying to like mess with people, or like ruin anyone. So.
Pero during the spot, nunca ha habido altercations, like right there, ahí, con veas que andan todos bien mamados y la bien locos y la
yeah, actually, before I had security, before I had a bodyguard, there were a couple altercations. We got jumped one time as a group.
¿O neta?
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. The girl I was dating at the time, so these guys, they pulled up and they were like, hey, tú eres el vato de Facebook, and they jumped out and like they wanted to fight. And so like I was fighting one guy, and my videographer at the time was fighting one guy, and then one of them just punched the girl that I was dating behind me.
No mames.
And she hit her head on the concrete, and she had an internal brain bleed like 1 centimeter, and went to the hospital and everything. She was unconscious. She hit her head on the concrete. And so like those guys all got arrested. I had another friend get jumped while we were all out there and stuff, and so that's why I had to hire a bodyguard and start, having security. And I think when I first did that, people were kind of like, why do you need a they're like, why do you want a bodyguard? You just want to look cool. And it's like, no, there's a lot of people like to fight down here.
Oh yeah.
And
not just fight.
Yeah,
Sacan cuenta y la verga, ¿sabes?
And so he's armed and stuff, and that's helped kind of deter a lot from happening. Nothing's really happened since he's been there, because nobody's gonna mess with me when I've got that guy next to me. But before, and it's mostly like jealous people, or maybe they're super drunk and they just want to fight for some reason, and they see the camera and the light and stuff.
Quieren tirar show, ya sabes.
Yeah, they just want to cag stick and stuff. But